Alrighty folks, as we get ready for another round of Assetto Corsa Competizione Round 9 Endurance Race in Spa, Belgium. Favorite of the drivers, favorite of mine to watch, and a favorite for a lot of the spectators out there. Alrighty folks, as we get ready for another round of Assetto Corsa Competizione Round 9. Excuse me there, I was getting a feedback loop. Did not want to hear myself talking at the same time. Anyways. As you can hear in the background, the drivers are in practice mode. There is still 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the practice session. As we move right along to the standings of the championship, we have Andrew Warden, our championship leader, who was not with us last week in Suzuka, therefore not being able to retain his position or extending his championship lead. Daniel Wright came in second place. Dave Hassar finished in the top 5 if I'm not mistaken, but Cookie in that Ferrari took first place last week in Suzuka. I hope to God he can put a challenge to Andrew Warden, Daniel Wright, bring up his championship points. It will be definitely exciting to see what he can do today after last week's astonishing win. Very excited to see what will happen there. I'm going to leave the championship leaderboards up there for you guys right now since we still have 40 seconds left in free practice. As we move on to the track at Spa-Francorchamps. Very famous circuit, very famous curves, very famous turns, and very famous straights. As you go down into turn 1, you got La Source. Then you go down the straight into Eau Rouge and Radion, down through the Kemmel and Kemmel Straight, going through Les Combes and Malmedy. After you go through Malmedy, you're going to go down through the straight to the Bruxelles corner, and then you're going to go down through the Double Gouch and through Les Fagnes, where Antonio Giovinazzi for Alfa Romeo a couple weeks ago in Belgium in his Alfa Romeo spun out, causing a massive accident and massive shunt, taking him and George Russell out of the race. And as we go through Les Fangs, we go through Campus and Stavelot, and then we go through the Curbe Paul Freire and Blanchemont, all the way down to the final bus stop chicane. And that's one lap around the glorious Spa-Francorchamps, getting to know the track, getting to know what will happen. I can't wait, and I'm very excited to see what happens, especially through La Source and Eau Rouge, up the famous tight Eau Rouge corner. I am very excited to what will happen today, especially through that corner. Excited. As we move on, we got the liveries of our fellow drivers. In the top left corner, we have Cookie, who has just created his own personal livery for that Ferrari in the black and gold coloring. I love it. I think it's beautiful. However, I think the drivers are now heeding towards my personal opinion of the gold coloring on their cars. However, in the top right corner, we got Montalvo, I believe in the McLaren, if I'm not mistaken. No, in the other Ferrari, I'm sorry. Montalvo in the other Ferrari with the blue and gold livery, also looking amazing. Sin Black Fox on the bottom right. Looking a little, going straight forward, straight to the point. It's a race car. He knows it's a race car. He wants all of us to see the race car. That is the livery that he'll be running for us today. And in the bottom left corner, we got Frost in his beautifully energetic, bright-colored McLaren, if I'm not mistaken. However, qualifying is about to begin. Free practice has just ended. And now we're going to go to the main beginning of this 90-minute race in Spa-Francorchamps. 14 minutes in qualifying remaining currently as the drivers get out of the pits. Let's go on and head over there. Right now we are on board with Kosar 33 in his Porsche. However, let's go up the field. As the first driver preparing to set up a lap is going to be Andrew Warden, our championship leader. It'll be very exciting to see what he can do. He's going to set the pace for us today. Andrew Warden, our championship leader, in a beautifully tan-colored Bentley of his. Excited to see what his lap will be and how it progresses throughout qualifying. Actually, Tommy Kogan in his Ferrari is the first person out to set the pace today. And Tommy Kogan can also do fast laps. He has great pace, great one-lap strategy as well, and a great race driver. overall. I'm excited to see what he can do on his first lap as we are on board with him for his quali lap. In the cockpit of the Ferrari. Let's take this car in. Let's take this engine in. Oh, a bit of lag. And last week we were going through the quirks and features of every car, and as you can see, the Ferrari has a rear view camera right in the center console of that car. Not a lot of cars have that. Ferrari is one of the few that do, and it's a cool feature that this vehicle does have. But enough of me talking. We're going through the bus stop chicane as Tommy Cogan starts to get ready to set the pace for the first qualifying lap of the session. Let's see what he can do as we go down the main pit stop straight into La Source. And it looks like traffic may also exist in front of him. It looks like... Oh my god! And this... Tommy Cogan looks like he just disconnected from the session. As we... Tommy Cogan has just disconnected, if I'm not mistaken. We had 25 drivers. We now only have 24 drivers. Tommy Cogan looks like he has disconnected, unfortunately. We're going to go on to Andrew Warden, the championship leader, to set the first lap of the qualifying session. Excited to see what he can bring to the table. He is usually the fastest man on a Saturday and a Sunday. Let's see what will happen as he gets a bit of a slide going through Lake Holmes and Malmedy. Notice how the Bentley is on the right side of the car versus the Ferrari on the left. Truly, truly British fashion and British style right there. Right ahead of Andrew Warden is Daniel Wright, the man in second place in the championship standings, as Andrew Wright gets out of his way, out of Andrew Warden's way, so we can get that hot lap in. However, there is more traffic behind Daniel Wright. Currently, no time has been set. Andrew Warden going through the final two chicanes down at the bus stop. Does not cut a corner. Goes smoothly in, smoothly out. Does not invalidate his lap. And he sets the first quali session lap with a 2 minute, 19 seconds, and 7/10. Currently in provisional pole. Andrew Warden looking like he's going for another lap. He's already 2/10 up. However, Daniel Wright, his championship rival, is setting his first qualifying lap pace. Let's see what he can do in that brightly and beautifully colored Audi R8. as Daniel Wright rounds Blanchimont. Let's go inside his view as we approach the bus stop chicane right behind Andrew Warden, who is going into the pits. And Daniel Wright sets a 2-minute 19.7, 300ths behind Andrew Warden. This is going to be an interesting fight for pole position. Two drivers within less than 1/10 of each other, less than half a tenth of each other. This is going to be an exciting matchup for this qualifying session. Not only that, because this qualifying session is so close, I'm excited to see what will happen for the race itself. We are getting a beautiful preview. Andrew Warden has already shaken the rust off of himself after missing last week's Suzuka race. And he's already up in provisional pole, but only by 300ths can Daniel Wright make the next step up and challenge Andrew Warden, which he already is, but can he get pole position? I mean, it's astonishing. The next and third fastest driver is Craig Bray, who is 1.4 seconds behind Andrew Warden with a provisional pole. However, we are now moving on to Kosar, who is the 7th fastest driver on the grid right now, who is almost 3 seconds behind Andrew Warden, and this just shows you the gap, the skill level difference between Andrew Warden and Daniel Wright, the two championship leaders, or the top two in the championship standings. And their massive, massive capabilities and skill compared to the rest of the grid here. 7th is 3 seconds behind almost. I wonder what 25th will look like. As now we have 25 drivers, looks like Tommy Kogan has returned. Hopefully he can get a qualifying lap in, because I'm pretty sure nobody wants to be in 25th place right now. That is 24 cars to get through if you have the pace, just to get back into first position in the race. As Kosar is going for a fastest, and does not look like he's going for a fastest lap. He is 7/10ths down. However, if you're 3 seconds behind the leader, there's always a second to be made up throughout the lap somewhere. Especially in the 3 sectors that you have, as we're on board with Kosar in his Porsche. As you can see, the different interior design, less technology inside the vehicle, less tech equals less weight. Hence my love of Porsche vehicles, with the beautiful balance in weight distribution and weight limitation in these cars. Why have a rear view camera if you have a rear view mirror? Why add all that electrical BS in there when you can just have something so basic? Unless the rear view mirror weighs more than the rear view camera. But, as I digress. As Kosar rounds Kirby, Paul Freire, and into Blanchimont. He is 1 second behind his current lap, which I will now abort watching. And we are now on Andrew Warden, who is actually on an outlap. However, Lintner, who is also... Let's see, who is setting a time... Okay, here we go. We got Frost in the McLaren, who got a little loose through... Where are we? Through Stavelot into the Kirby Paul Freire. Frost in that Ferrari. 1.32 seconds up on his current time. He is 7 seconds back from the leader, Andrew Warden. Can he find enough time to jump into the top 20? Going through the bus stop chicane. 3 minutes left in the qualifying session. Frost crosses the line 1.68 seconds faster. He moves into 16th position, 5.4 seconds behind the leader. However, he is 500ths clear of Alan Zhu in his Porsche. As we have Temujin in the McLaren, 2.2 seconds behind the current provisional pole time, sitting in 7th place. He is getting ready to do an outlap. 3 minutes left, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the session. It looks like it takes him 2 minutes and 21 seconds to get around the track. It does not look like Temujin will be able to set a time. The time is already gone. However, let's go on board with Chambers, who has yet to set a time. I'm excited to see what he can do in his Ferrari. Let's see what will occur. So we're on Chambers' Ferrari cockpit cabin. And I'm just going to sit here and shut up because I do love the sound of the Ferrari engine. All that snap, crackle, and pop. They might as well make a Rice Krispie commercial. "25 drivers in total. 4 drivers have yet to set a time. I'm sure Tommy Kogan wants to get a lap out. He's fast. He can definitely be easily in the top 10 if he wants to be. It's just that he had a connection issue earlier, which disrupted his chance of qualifying. However, there's 1 minute left in the session. Tommy Kogan does not have a lot of time left to set that personal best. Chambers has less than a minute now, but he is already on his hot lap. He has not yet invalidated. Let's see if he can do this lap. Oh, does not invalidate. That's a hard stop moment right there. You definitely don't want to be sitting in 23 out of 25. That is a lot of cars to overtake, and there are no safety cars here. Going through Blanchimont, can Chambers get into the top 20? Can he get into the top 10? Or can he get into the top 5? We shall see. Going through the bus stop chicane. 2 chicanes left. 1 chicane left. 20 seconds left in the qualifying session. He will have a chance to do another quali lap if he has the fuel. And he goes 13th fastest, 3.9 seconds behind Andrew Warden's provisional pole lap, if I'm not mistaken. However, can Chambers do another lap? Does not look like he gets the proper exit. However, 3 minutes left in the qualifying session, letting everybody else finish up their laps. Let's see who is provisional pole currently. As we still technically have time. Let's go. Whoop. It looks like it's Andrew Warden. It is Andrew Warden. Currently, we have Andrew Warden in provisional pole, who is 6 tenths faster than Daniel Wright in P2 right now in the Audi R8. But Daniel Wright is not finished. Daniel Wright is setting a hot lap as we speak, and we will see if he can come close to Andrew Warden, close up that gap a little. And if he can pit pole from Andrew Warden, let's see if we can find him. Actually, if anything, he would be coming in from the other way. That's Lindner, that's Grills, that's Chambers. Daniel Wright setting his hot lap. Only man that can challenge Andrew Warden at this time, unless there's a shock on the grid, which I doubt there will be. He is 666 away from Andrew Warden, the devil's number. Can he overcome hell? Can he come from hell and back? And can he put Andrew Warden in his place for missing out in Suzuka? Who has the rust? Because right now, Andrew Warden does not look like he has any rust on him. However, Daniel Wright, I'm sure, wants pole. He's 20... He is over 3 tenths up. He needs to be 6 tenths quicker. He needs to find time somewhere. Right now, it's not looking too promising. He needs to be 5 tenths quicker through Blanchimont and through the bus stop chicane. Right now, he's only 1 tenth up. He's going to obviously secure P2. He's already in P2, provisional 2nd place. I don't think anybody's going to challenge him for that. However, can he find more time? And he is finding the time, but he did not get the proper exit, unfortunately. He will close that gap to just 3 tenths behind Andrew Warden. So the fight for P1 should be close between Andrew Warden and Daniel Wright. This is a 90-minute race, everybody. So we will see what happens. A lot can happen in 90 minutes between blue flags, between fuel consumption and tire wear. We will be expecting pit stops all across the board. You will have to be a mad lad indeed, to go 90 minutes without refueling or without tire changing. Maybe not the tire changing part. However, there will probably be some drivers who will change tires. But if you go 90 minutes without fueling, you are going to struggle. Interesting. So about that, just, figuring out some new things every day. As you can see, Andrew Warden and Daniel Wright locking out the front row once again. Cookie in that black and gold Ferrari that we looked at earlier today during the livery contest to see what we can see through the drivers on their creations. Cookie's beautiful black and gold livery right there, right in our face, with Pitch in P4 in his Mercedes AMG GTR. We got we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 German cars in the top 5, and we have 5, 6 German cars in the top 10. So, that is impressive. However, 30 seconds left before the session starts. Let's just go through the grid. Whoops, wrong way. As you can see, Ferraris and McLarens and Porsches. And an Audi. There's apparently a Honda. I have yet to see a Honda. Patterson sporting the Honda. You know what? I have never seen the Honda yet. I haven't seen anybody race the Honda. I'm kind of curious to see what this looks like. Are we doing a starting? What are we doing? What is this? Has the race started? The race hasn't started. What is happening? We're doing a full formation lap, apparently. Something we have yet to do all season. 90-minute race. 2 minutes and 40 seconds of heating up tires and preparing. However, I do want to look at this Honda in the meantime, since this is the first time I'm seeing the Honda on this track, or in any of our races. Interior kind of looks cool, with a Formula 1-esque steering wheel. Oh no, the race has actually started. Holy shit. Excuse my language. Was not expecting that. We are going 3 wide up Eau Rouge and Radion. Unbelievable. Nobody has touched and crashed. As we can see all the way down the main Kemmel straight, we are going side by side into turn. Oh god, and oh my god, and there's a crash. Oh god, what is happening? What is happening? Let's back that up. 3 cars missing their turning into Les Combes. They outbrake each other, hit each other, and now 2 cars are all the way in the back. 1 car has actually survived the carnage. As we follow through, this is mayhem. 25 cars all going through this beautiful track of Francorchamps as we are now going through Bruges. Drivers are fighting. However, let's go back to the front of the grid as we have Daniel Wright and Andrew Warden. As you can see, 8/10 separating them. Cookie in 3rd, Pitch in 4th, Wallenstein in 5th, Bray in 6th, Temujin making up, actually no, staying in 7th position, Tommy Kogan in 8th, Kieran Fox in 9th, and Alan Zhu in 10th. Impressive. I think Tommy Kogan just made 2 positions. As we have Chambers in 11th, Common Cold in 12th, Frost in 13, and Frost is one of those liveries that we were looking at earlier today. This is one that he just made for this track in a beautiful colored Ferrari right there in the number 99 car. Patterson in his Honda in 14th place. We've got Lindner and the Ferrari in 15th. Dave Hassar, I'm surprised he is in 16th position right now in the Bentley. He is usually in the top 5, if not the top 10. He is right now in 16th position on the first lap of this race, and it looks like he qualified there as well. However, as we get ready... Oh my, we got somebody trying to overtake. Touching. Oh, and we got that right there. Oh my god. Kosar hitting. Oh my god, this is a catastrophe. This is a catastrophe. We got cars all lined up on the pit start finish straight. Oh, and now we got Dave Hassar coming off worse out of that situation. Going from 16th position all the way down to 25th, getting spun around. However, we are now about to go up the famous Radion and Eau Rouge corner. However, no mistakes have been made so far. I don't see any yellow flags popping up as these cars are going up, following each other. Oh my, these two cars really close to each other. Oh, and who is that? That looks like Dee's Grills cutting the chicane. And it looks like Nixar and his Bentley cutting the chicane as we go back. Oh my god, and what is this? We got Chambers, and I'm just going to play this right here, and it looks like he just got whoops, there we go. Exploded. There we go. I had to do the meme. It was right there. As we go back to the front of the grid, Andrew Warden leading this race, 1.1 seconds ahead of Daniel Wright in that Audi R8. As we go through, the pack at the front is starting to split up. However, different strategies are going to be taking place. It's a 90-minute race, different fuel loads, different tire pressures, different tire wear. We will see what happens through there. However, the fight for 7th, 8th, and 9th is starting to get a little closer for each other. We got Tommy Kogan in his Ferrari, I believe. Yes, Tommy Kogan in his colored Ferrari that looks similar to Frost's Ferrari with that blue and green coloring scheme, leading this pack between him, Temujin, and Kieran Fox. Common Cold in P10 in his Bentley. However, let's start getting into the action. In fact, let's get into the action back here. This is Wilkins, Gobbs, and Pfeiffer. 3 drivers, 2 of whom are very, very known for making accidents happen and DNFing in the first 10 minutes of the race. Let's see what happens here. I hope there's beautiful overtakes and no DNFs, because 25 drivers on the grid right now is unbelievable. I wish we can get a full 32 as we have Van getting ready to go on the inside of Pfeiffer, backs out of the bus stop chicane. Wilkins closing that gap. Pfeiffer cuts the corner. Pfeiffer cuts the bus stop chicane. And Van is going to be on the inside of him, going into La Source. Can Van make the move stick? Van is going to make the move stick. Wilkins is going to try and shove his car in between, and he gets the move done. Pfeiffer loses 2 positions because of cutting that bus stop chicane. We got cars in the pits, probably repairing, after, I believe, one of them crashing out at Radion. He wants to fix his car up. There's 25 drivers on the grid. There's going to be mistakes happening somewhere. It's a long, long race, a 90-minute race. Oh my god, and Pfeiffer cuts Radion. And it looks like, who was that? Dolmuz in Alexis cutting Radion as well. Got Montalvo, Nixar, and Dave Hassar, who is making up positions slowly but surely. He has the pace to start making up positions. We definitely want to keep an eye on Dave Hassar here, because he has the potential. Dee's Grills is another driver who definitely has the potential to start making up positions as well. They definitely got worse for wear. As we go back to the front of the grid, that gap is starting to slowly creep up and start to get extended on Daniel Wright, who is now 1.9 seconds behind Andrew Warden. As they go through Le Fans, going into Campus Corner and through Stavelot as he rounds out the second half of the track. Andrew Warden leading Daniel Wright and Cookie. Cookie, the previous Grand Prix winner in Suzuka last week, is in 3rd place. Hopefully he can start challenging for P2, and hopefully we can see a fight for P1 with 3 different drivers. We got Michael Pitch, which I don't know if his first name is Michael, but, you know, M reminds me of Michael, in his pink Mercedes. Didn't realize we had a Racing Point on the grid today. Paul Wallenstein in his Porsche. In 5th place, Craig Bray in 6th. Tommy Kogan has separated himself from Kieran Fox and Temujin. Something happened to Temujin as we actually get... oh my god, and we catch that. Who was that? That is Temujin, who spun out in the bus stop chicane. That is interesting. Let's see what happens going into La Source. Does not look like anything will happen into La Source. Which way am I going? As we go back into the bus stop chicane. Looks like bus stop is the corner for incidents. As we have a driver going into the pits, it's Nixar. I'm assuming he's going in for repairs because it is way too early for there to be a valid reason. 25 drivers still on the grid. Let's go. Oh, what is this? Oh, nope, never mind. We got a driver going out of the pits, joining the circuit. It is Chambers, who is in 25th place. He is going to be a back marker. However, the midfield is jam-packed with action. Let's stay on board with Lintner. As M. Straval is now in the middle of the pack. He had to pit for repairs, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what he can do. As we can see him, who is only 3.6 seconds up the road from Lintner, who is in 11th place. In fact, while we are here, wrong button. Let's take a look behind us. Actually... as we push wrong buttons here in the studio, the fake studio, aka my upstairs living room, as we have Wilkins in 19th, and we are getting a beautiful view of Chambers keeping up with Pfeiffer, and Chambers is a lap down right now. Oh, and Chambers making the move on Pfeiffer. They tap a little, and this has made Pfeiffer lose time, allowing Wilkins to close that gap. And let's see if he can make a move onto the 18th. For this is the fight for 18th place. However, fights are juicy no matter where you go. Van, who was in the scrum with Wilkins Pfeiffer, is now 3 seconds up the road. He is making progress. And we're about to get a clear view on what will happen through bus stop chicane. Oh my god, and he almost nails Pfeiffer in the rear there. I'm sure Pfeiffer had a scare. It looks like somebody has just spun. It was not through... it is out of La Source. And who is that? That is Kosar. Who is not... he's in the middle of the road. Is there going to be any accidents? He has time. Hopefully he does not spin again. His tires have to be screaming right now. Hopefully he doesn't block anybody going up Eau Rouge and Radion. There's a white flag and a yellow flag somewhere, and it looks like somebody's just spun out of Radion. Who is that? Dolmuz in his Lexus, and he goes back into the pits. That is going to be a lengthy... that is going to be a lengthy pit stop for Dolmuz in his Lexus. However, let's get back up here with Chambers, who is trailing Gobbs Van and Frost, and he is just trying to make positions. Oh my god, almost rear-ending Van there. At a certain point, you have to think Chambers has to slightly calm down here. He is a lap behind. I understand he wants to get back into the race, but he needs to do it in the safest and respectful way possible, instead of trying to potentially ruin other drivers' races. However, this is his opportunity. Hopefully he doesn't make any incidents. Oh, and they touch! And Chambers is into the wall. And Chambers is into the wall, and he's going back onto the track, getting blue flagged everywhere. Oh my god. And there's cars coming. He's going into the middle of the track right now. Is there going to be an accident? Oh my god, that was so close. And just a quick little clip there, and bam. And that was a bam. That was a bang. That was an explosion right there. Fireworks. Of Chambers running into the side of Van, and he comes out worse for it. I don't want to say thank God he's the one that came out worse for it, because he was the one that was a lap down. You never want to see a driver losing more momentum. However, there's still an hour and 18 minutes left in this race. There is still time for him to make something happen, especially if there are massive accidents up the road. Whoops. Whoops. Ah, my god, I can't. Okay, there we go. As we're now on Kosar, Hussar, and Montalvo. And this is going to be a juicy one. Seems like these three drivers also have a history of making mistakes, especially in high-pressure situations. I'm excited to see what's going to happen up Eau Rouge and Radion, and even through La Source. And I hope the drivers take the explosionary planets with a grain of salt here. It's for the memes. Oh man, this is a beautiful view, actually. Oh, and it looks like we got Dave Hussar going on the outside of the Ferrari of Montalvo. However, I would bet money on the Ferrari down that main straight of the Kemmel Straight. And nobody is making a move. Oh, and Hussar outbrakes himself, almost rear-ending the back of... Is that Wilkins, actually? No, that was Wilkins. Almost outbraking himself... Actually, no, that was Montalvo. Almost outbraking himself into the back of Montalvo. However, as we go up the road, got a three-way fight here between Van Nixar, who is a lap down. Let's forget about that for a second. Let's go over here with Temujin and Patterson. I've never seen Patterson race. I'm excited to see what he can do. Temujin is a very fast driver as well. However, he is also prone to making mistakes. Let's see what these two drivers can do. An unknown obstacle and an unpredictable object. Also catching up to the back of Alan Zhu in his Porsche. Man, Porsche. As these drivers go through the Stavelot chicane, up through the Courbe Paul Frere, and into the Blanchimont chicane, or turn, or straight, whatever you want to call this, the back straight. Oh, and Temujin goes a little wide, keeps it inbounds, however, has to lift off. What is going to happen into the bus stop chicane? What is going to happen to La Source and Eau Rouge and Radion? As we got Temujin right on the back of Patterson. And you know what? We have yet to see a rear end camera collection. And you know what? This Honda is beautifully colored. And I am opinionated towards yellow and gold colored vehicles. It kind of reminds me of a honeybee. And it looks like there are more drivers going into the pits. Hopefully it's for refueling. Hopefully they underfueled the crap out of their cars. They're just refueling for the rest of the race. That would be my guess. That would be my hope. Hopefully it's not for repairs, because then they will lose a lot of time. However, that will put the drivers who are in P25 and 24 into play, if that is the case. However, let's go up the road. We got Lintner and Common Cold fighting for P9 right now. I would much prefer to see this battle. It's for a much higher position. These two drive. I've never seen Lintner drive. Common Cold is an excellent driver as well. Let's see what he can do in his Bentley. As he chases him into the fast left-hander. Who will make the first mistake? Or massive mistake? These two drivers are going very cautious. Lintner looks like a very cautious driver. He is slowing down extra hard just to make sure he doesn't rear-end anybody on accident. However, I kind of want to see a little bump. I like aggression. However, this is a marathon race, not a sprint race. It is an hour and 13 minutes left in the race. I suppose a bump would not be appropriate at this time. As they go through Blanchimont, getting ready to go down through the bus stop corner. I'm kind of curious to see the strengths and weaknesses of these two drivers. It looks like Lintner is able to brake much later than Common Cold. However, Common Cold does seem to be able to get much better exits, and I guess that's a trade-off between the two. You either brake late and have a shitty exit, or you brake early and have a much proper exit. And through an exit is where you get most of your overtakes done. However, if you are close enough to make the braking later work, you can try and overtake that way. However, if you're not close enough, you definitely want to brake early enough so you can prepare to get the better exit. Oh, and this is beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful attempt by Lintner. Going up Eau Rouge and Radion, he is so close to Common Cold. He can outbrake Common Cold. I want to see him outbrake Common Cold. Let's get into the helicopter cam, as they're now also approaching Chambers. Oh my god, Lintner backs off. What is he doing? I don't think he has processed the fact that he brakes later than Common Cold. He could have outbroke him, and then he would have had the inside line through Les Combes and into the Malmedy Malmedy corner. Oh my god, what a wasted opportunity. What a wasted opportunity. And the fight between Patterson and Temujin has cooled down a bit. However, they have actually now closed the gap onto Alan Zhu, who's now a deciding factor into that fight. It has become a three-way fight for P11. Alan Zhu is defending that. However, we are on board with Lintner and the Common Cold battle, which Dave Hassar in P22, he has the pace to keep up with them. He was behind these two drivers, and he has now caught up to these two drivers. This just shows you the potential that has been wasted in this 90-minute race for Dave Hassar. And we saw what happened. If you were here, in the first lap or the second lap, Dave Hassar got spun out into the bus stop chicane, forcing him to lose a lot of time and ending up into P25. However, something just happened behind us. What just happened? Alan Zhu has just gotten overtaken twice by Temujin and Patterson. I have no idea what happened. Unfortunately, we were on board with Lintner and Common Cold. However, we did see that amazing exit through La Source and up Radion and Eau Rouge from Lintner. I'm excited to see if he can pull it off again, and hopefully he has some big balls going down the Kemmel Straight. And I want to see some brave defending from Common Cold, who has been doing everything he has to be doing. I'm not going to take that away from Common Cold. Lintner just needs to grow a bigger pair of balls, if you ask me. Because he had a wasted opportunity last lap going down Kemmel Straight and into Les Combes. He backed away depressingly, and it does not look like he has the chance again, and we shall see what happens at the end of this straight. We will see if the Ferrari has the straight line capacity, straight line speed. He is gaining a tenth on the straight right now with that Ferrari-powered engine. Looks like somebody has clipped the grass ahead. Anyways, as we go throughout the track, Patterson 1.2 seconds ahead of Temujin, who is now ahead of Alan Zhu, who is 1.3 seconds behind. Oh, and it looks like somebody has spun, and that is Pfeiffer, one of the drivers I believed who would make a mistake. However, it does not look like the damage is severe enough. He is carrying on. That's good to see. I want to see a full 25 grid finish at the end of this race. I think that will definitely be exciting, as he now actually drops all the way down to P20. And now we got Dolmuz going up Eau Rouge and Radion. However, the man who is leading the championship and leading this race, Andrew Warden, going through the final bus stop chicane, going on to the start-finish straight, setting another lap, 9 laps into the race. He is 3.9 seconds ahead of his rival, Daniel Wright, who is 9.1 seconds ahead of Cookie in his Ferrari, who is 3 seconds ahead of Michael Pitch. I'm kind of interested to see what the fuel strategy is between these guys, because these guys are the ones that make the least amount of mistakes, and these guys are the ones that make that always challenge into the top 5 and definitely into the top 10. However, what do we have here? We got Craig Bray in the Mercedes chasing down Tommy Kogan for the P6 position, and this is the closest fight we have into the top 10. And let's go on board with Craig Bray and see if he can knock down that 9/10 gap from Tommy Kogan as these two drivers go up Eau Rouge and Radion. Kind of curious to see who has that straight line speed advantage. I know Craig Bray had a really bad exit out of Radion, cutting that chicane. and going and losing the stability of his car. Unfortunately, it does not look like it will be happening anytime soon. As we go through the back a bit, we got Lintner and Cold, and Lintner is going to get the chance. And Lintner, who is now ahead of Calm and Cold, and I had a feeling he was going to be able to make a move up. Oh my god, and he outbrakes himself. Oh, and he loses control of the car, and he messes up. This has to be a frustrating moment for Lintner. He gets the move done and outbrakes himself into the Calm. Oh my god. You know what? Calm and Cold had the pressure on him. He had to make the move and fight back, and he kept calm and collected, and he stayed out on top. And now he has Dave Hussar, a back marker in between him and Lintner, and that is just going to cost Lintner some time. And that is just unfortunate to see. A beautiful, beautiful fight between these two drivers, a beautiful opportunity, and just like that, that opportunity can disappear if you do not keep that pressure under control. However, I make mistakes like that too. I get very excited when I'm overtaking somebody, and I accidentally hit that throttle a little too early. I keep my foot on the throttle every now and then, or I don't brake as hard enough as I usually would because of those situations. So I can understand that situation that he was in. Brilliant driving from Calm and Cold, making sure he doesn't make any mistakes. It sounds like something was broken in the house. But anyways, however, I kind of want to see if Dave Hussar, the man who can outpace these drivers on a good day, clearly not today. However, can he get an overtake done on Calm and Cold, the back marker, almost rear-ending him, and because of that, he's blocking Lintner like a madman, as you can see through the rearview mirror. Oh my god, Dave Hussar, who is being blue flagged, is refusing to give the position back to Calm and Cold, or give the position back to Lintner. However, this isn't even a... Dave Hussar isn't even fighting for P9. He's fighting for P22. However, he knows he has the pace to be fighting for P9. And he's taking the opportunity to show everybody what he's got, and you know what? I'm going to respect it, and I'm going to show it. As far as I'm aware, this is the most entertaining fight so far. And it involves a back marker who is refusing to yield. Because he has the pace and he knows it. As he goes to make a move into let Calm, and I kind of hope Calm and Cold makes the move, allows him to take that move. It's not worth fighting a driver who's in P22 right now, especially if he has the pace, or even if he has the pace, just let him go through. He's a lap down. He's not gonna interrupt your race right now. And it's nice to see that move was respected. However, we are now back to the Calm and Cold and Lintner saga, and because of them fighting, this actually has allowed the pack of Patterson, Temujin, and Alan Zhu to slowly catch back up. However, they no longer have Dave Hussar on their thorn right now. And we will definitely see what is going to happen now. If these two drivers keep fighting, we will see a 5-car battle for P9. And I kind of want to see Lintner put the pressure on Calm and Cold, slow them both up, let Patterson catch up, let Temujin catch up, and let Alan Zhu. In fact, this is from Patterson's view, and he can see them clearly. And this is going to motivate Patterson to close the gap. He has his sights on points, and he has his sights on P9. And this is where this is the type of position you want to be in P11. Not too close to the battle where if a mistake happens right in front of you, you can't get out of the way. But you still have the gap to P12 at 1.6 seconds, so you still have the gap to them. So it's a good, respectable distance from the front cars and the rear cars. However, if the two drivers ahead of him keep fighting, he's eventually going to start losing time. He's going to get pushed into Temujin and eventually Alan Zhu if these two drivers don't pick up the pace. And it looks like Lintner is going to get the much better exit through La Source. Let's see if Lintner can do a nice, beautiful line up Eau Rouge and Rédillon. And you know what? It's not... He's gaining time, but he wasn't close enough. And I know for a fact nothing is going to happen this lap. So let's move up the road and see what's happening here. We got Craig Bray, who has been at a 1 second gap to Tommy Kogan for the past, I don't know, I want to say 4 laps. So it'll be interesting to see the pit stop strategy between these two drivers. It looks like they're on the same fuel consumption. However, if one of them has a much larger fuel limit, oh my god, my English is so bad right now. If Craig Bray has a much higher fuel tank in his car, God, my English is deteriorating. If Craig Bray has a much larger fuel tank in his car right now, that's not the word. Anyways, whoever has more weight in their car and they're keeping up with the other driver is impressive stuff. That's for sure. That's what I wanted to say. Not exactly, but as we go back up to Andrew Warden, who is 4.8 seconds ahead of Daniel Wright, who is 12.5 seconds ahead of Cookie, and Cookie is also 6.5 seconds ahead of Pitch, who is 5 seconds ahead of Wallenstein, and Paul Wallenstein is 14 seconds ahead of Tommy Kogan. So the top 5 is in a little bit of a strategy battle between them. However, Craig Bray, who is now 6/10, these two drivers are going to come down to the wire. I feel like in the end of the 1 hour session that they have here, or, yeah, into the interesting session that these two drivers are going to have, it's going to come down to the end. However, if we go back now, whoops, the wrong way, it looks like we have an interesting thing forming up here. Lintner on common cold. Let's go inside the cockpit here. Who has actually allowed Patterson to come up to 1 second into this fight. This fight is now beginning to turn into a 3-way fight for P9. And Temujin, who is only 2.3 seconds behind of these guys, is also going to start getting into play here. The Common Cold is turning into Jarno Trulli by creating the Common Cold train. Oh, and it looks like a move is about to be attempted. What will happen? Is Lintner going to outbrake himself again into Le Com? Oh boy. And Common Cold is throwing his car into the corner now, and he slides a bit. However, he has now lost P9 to Lintner. It looks like Lintner might have slightly quicker pace than him. Common Cold has had excellent defending, keeping Lintner behind for such a long time. I wonder if that has ruined his strategy for the race. However, Common Cold, because of all that fighting, has now let Patterson catch up to him, and now Temujin is catching up to Patterson and Common Cold, and this just became a 3-way fight for P10 because Lintner is already 1.1 second ahead of Common Cold. Lintner is going to create a gap on Common Cold. However, now the battle for P10 is about to begin between himself and Patterson and Temujin, and we're about to get a beautiful, beautiful visual of this 3-way fight. As we now have 1 hour or 59 minutes and 30 seconds left in the session of this endurance race. I'm surprised Honda is the GT3 provider and not Acura. I'm pretty sure Acura has a... I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Acura has a sports car. However, I do not know what that sports car is. Maybe it's this car, the Honda, but with Acura badging. Anyways. And actually you can see Alan Zhu slowly closing the gap as well, who is 4 seconds behind Common Cold. And let's go back here. Oops, wrong way. Actually, Common Cold has closed the gap on Lintner, and this has just become a 4-way fight for P9. Common Cold has not given up. Common Cold has just turned up the engine, put it into party mode, as Mercedes would like to call it in Formula 1, and he is pushing the crap out of his car. Excuse my language. Common Cold is making a comeback. He is coming for revenge. However, we have Temujin. Wrong view. Temujin going onto the inside of Lecombe. However, Patterson now has the inside line through the second chicane. And Patterson holds on to P11. However, this fighting between these two drivers has now let Common Cold and Lintner to get a gap between them. And as these two drivers are fighting, we actually have Dave Hassar catching up to M. Straval in the fight for P21. Not necessarily a high position to fight for, but that is a battle that is taking place. And I know Dave Hassar, he has the pace. And he is aggressive enough when it needs to be done to make a move on M. Straval. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a move into the bus stop chicane as these two drivers are getting ready to enter campus. And Littner is able to get a gap on Common Cold, who has clearly made a mistake somewhere because he is now 2 seconds behind Lintner. Oh, and we have Dave Hassar, who backs off the throttle. I am surprised. And not in a pleasant way. And knowing that has just happened, I will be going back the order to see what happens here between these three drivers. The fight for P10 is now starting to get hyped up by me. Man, that is a beautifully colored Honda. I'm kind of rooting for the Honda. I would normally be rooting for a McLaren, but that Honda is beautiful. As we're now on board inside that McLaren, we have yet to be in the cockpit of the McLaren. As you can see, the different technological differences in between these cars. How this one has a rear view camera. However, Temujin is going to go through the inside of Patterson into Lecombe once again. However, Patterson knows that if he holds the outside line, he will have the inside line through the second chicane. However, he does not outbrake. He is not able to outbrake Temujin, and this allows Temujin to go through into P11. And because of this fighting, it actually has allowed Common Cold to get a 2-second gap on Temujin. However, I'm pretty sure that gap will eventually be closed down again. And I'm sure Patterson is not going to give up that easy. And Alan Zhu, who was originally 4.1 seconds behind this group, is now 3.2 seconds. So hopefully he can keep up the pace, he can make the moves, and he can catch up and start challenging for P12, 11, 10, and hopefully P9. However, let's go back up to the top. Let's see what Craig Bray and Tommy Cogan are doing. And Tommy Cogan has pulled a 2.4 second gap now on Craig Bray, the fight for P6. These girls is into the pits, probably for a regular pit stop. As we go on board with Tommy Cogan in his Ferrari, the Ferrari. Paul Wallenstein's Porsche, and that super high-pitched engine of his with the classic 6-cylinder inline engine of Porsche. Pitch, who is in 4th place. Cookie, who is in 3rd place, 17 seconds behind Daniel Wright. Daniel Wright has slowly been losing to Andrew Warden on time. I'm kind of curious to see if Daniel Wright has a lap or two extra fuel in his tank, which is the reason why he's losing time. I wonder at the end of the race if he can close that gap down, because he'll probably have less fuel than Andrew Warden, but only whenever the pit stops occur will we be able to see. And if these two drivers are doing about a halfway mark point at 45 minutes into the race, we will actually see what their strategies are. That's my guess, is that these drivers are doing a half and half. Put half of the fuel in now and half of the fuel in later, and balance it out that way and have a nice smooth transition throughout the race. But we shall see what the strategy is. However, Andrew Warden our race leader, is preparing to approach some back markers. And we will not bore you with that as he goes to work on a regular day. What is this? This is a three-way fight between Grills, Frost, and Van. However, Grills has been given the beautiful opportunity to take a stop-go penalty of 30 seconds. I am curious, and I'm going to meme lord his race by giving him the explosion sign there, of his race getting ruined by that stop-go 30-second penalty there. Because he's already in P22, and now he has to serve an extra 30 seconds into the pits. That's not going to be a fun one. Frost, as we go on board with him and his Ferrari, right on the back of Van, and these two drivers are going to be an interesting matchup. I don't think I've seen these two drivers fight each other, but these two drivers seem to be accident-prone, if I'm not mistaken. I shall see. However, Van has impressed me this race with his lack of accidents, and I have yet to see Frost this race. So I will. Let's see what these two drivers can do, and I hope Frost can put the pressure on Van. I like Van, but I do want to see action. The viewers want to see action. I want to see some aggression. I want to see what happens. However, 17 seconds behind these drivers, we got Montalvo, who is within 6/10 of Cossar. So we got a Ferrari and Porsche accident right behind us down the road, probably going through campus and Stavelot right now as we speak. However, let's see what will happen going up the Kemmel Straight and see what's going to happen through Eau Rouge and Radion if Frost can close that gap and get ready to make a move. Overtaking opportunity through Le Combe. We shall see. And these girls is going to serve his stop-go penalty into the pits. That is a rip. As we have an interesting four-driver fight going through bus stop right... Actually, two-driver fight going through bus stop right now. Frost is cutting the chicane, and he is losing a ton of time to Gobbs Van. We will be back on board with him later. Whoops, what are we doing here? As we will be back for him later on in the session. However, this is Wilkins getting overtaken by Daniel Wright. That's what that was. Patterson is into the pits, which is actually interesting now. Who is that? Patterson is into the pits. And what is the strategy here? Is he getting refueled? The animation is not showing for some reason. However, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. We have Temujin and Common Cold. Lintner, who was in the fight for P9, is now 6 seconds up the road. As you can see, the difference in pace between him and Common Cold, and how amazing defending Common Cold was doing through the race to keep Lintner that long behind him. However, Lintner is now in clean air, fresh air, does not need to be behind Common Cold, and he is just pulling a massive 6-second gap on Common Cold. Temujin, who has lost a lot of time actually through campus and Stavelot, is now 1.5 seconds behind. However, we got Alan Zhu, who is losing time to the drivers up ahead of him. What do we have here? Yeah. Montalvo and Cossar. These drivers were having an interesting matchup, and it looks like Cossar has gained back a 1.4 second advantage on Montalvo as we keep going through the grid to see what's happening. Daniel Wright is now on the back of Wilkins. Wilkins is getting the blue flag. Will he yield down the back straight through the Curbe Paul Freire and Blanchimont, and he does allow Daniel Wright to go by, who is now 6.4 seconds behind Andrew Warden. And as we keep going down the road, let's see, who do we have here fighting for position? Actually, yeah, no. Who do we... Oh, we got more drivers into the pits. Who is that leaving? We got Craig Beret, the man fighting for P... Well, he's in 4th place. Let's say that. The man who's in 4th place. However, what do we have here? Nothing. Patterson is still in the pits for such a long time. And Temujin, the man Patterson was fighting with, is already on his way out of the pits. He is a full lap down on Temujin. I don't know what has happened to this guy. That's a Ripperoni Pitch who is now pitting. Wallenstein, who now takes 4th place. Originally in P6, if I'm not mistaken. He has gained 2 positions, but he has yet to pit. However, he was not too far away from Pitch. It'll be interesting to see. And what is this? We have Tommy Kogan. Where is he? We have Tommy Kogan now. Originally fighting in... Maybe he was also fighting with Paul Wallenstein for P6. No, Bray was in 7. Kogan was in 6. Wallenstein was in 5th. Wallenstein is now in 4th. It is just confusing now. We got the pits. We got the strategy. It's halfway through the race. Everybody is doing their pits, or at least a majority of the field is doing their pits. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see. And now all the gaps are slowly getting separated. However, the drivers with the lowest amount of fuel and the most amount of skill will start to close down that gap once again. Andrew Warden, who's just bossing himself around, is actually losing a lot of time to the back markers of Montalvo and Kosar, because he was originally 6 seconds ahead. Now he's only 5.3 seconds ahead. However, he gets the move done around the outside of Kosar. And I'm curious to see if he pits. Does Andrew Warden pit? There's another driver going into the pits, and that is Frost is into the pits. Andrew Warden stays out, goes for another lap. Where's Daniel Wright? Does he pit? And Daniel Wright does pit. He is pitting. And it will be interesting to see what he does with his strategy. However, Craig Bray in 16th is behind Wilkins. And that is not where he wants to be, because Wilkins has yet to pit. So he needs to get by as quickly as possible and lose the least amount of time possible, because Pitch, the man he is actually fighting for, is up the road, exiting the pits as we speak. And this time loss is going to cost Bray dearly. And it has cost Bray dearly. Pitch is so far up the road, 10 seconds in fact. And I think that may have lost Bray the P6, I think it's P6, the P6 spot. As we have Pitch on the back of Dolmuz. It looks like this is the best overtaking we can get right now, as Pitch is chasing down a back marker. Let's see if the back marker yields. In fact, as we're here, we are going to see a pink Mercedes, aka the racing point of GT3 cars. So let's keep going through the field and see what's happening. Wallenstein in provisional second place has yet to pit, and Kogan has yet to pit. Kieran Fox has yet to pit, and Daniel Wright looks like he's exiting the pits. M. Straval. Man, this is such a confusing time here. Let's just do it this way. M. Straval, who's chasing nobody down. Common Cold, who is in 7th place right now, has yet to pit. Man, this is the time of strategy thinking from the commentary side, because I do not have other monitors to show me what everybody's pit stop strategies are, and I don't have interviewers or reporters either, so... We have... Let's see, I gotta calculate this on my own now. We've got a bunch of drivers behind back markers, that's what we have. And these back markers are going to slow down drivers, and Daniel Wright right now in 6th place, who has done his pit stop already, is stuck behind Chambers, who is going to slow him down. Hopefully Wright can get past Chambers, because he has to close a 5.5 second gap to Andrew Warden, and he gets the move done through Lafon as he goes down in towards the campus corner. And through into Stave Lot. You gotta keep an eye on to where Andrew Warden is. And Andrew Warden is not in the pits. No, he is in the pits. He's actually leaving the pits. Will Andrew Warden get stuck behind anybody interesting? However, Tommy Kogan and Paul Wallenstein, P1, P2, they are going extra long onto their first stint and trying to have as little fuel as possible on their second stint. And that is going to be interesting. I like it. It is an aggressive approach. Probably trying to find the best pit window where they do not have to get stuck behind traffic, because hopefully more people will continuously make mistakes. However, we have Craig Bray, pitch, Patterson. I question what has happened to Patterson. The man who was originally fighting for P9, 10, and 11 is now all the way down to P24 with the lengthiest pit stop I've ever seen. And he was not a driver who looked like he made a mistake. However, it looks like he has made a mistake, and that has cost him dearly. However, Kosar and Emsterval, these two were fighting, and Kosar was ahead of Emsterval, and Emsterval is now 2 seconds ahead of him. He has gained a 4-second gap on Kosar. And that is an interesting situation. These two drivers are definitely going to keep fighting it out. They have the same amount. They have very similar pace, and it all boils down to accidents and mistakes between these two drivers. However, up the road, we have Frost on Daniel Wright, who is in P6. Oh my, Frost is using his car to the limit, as you should. Good job to you. However, as we keep going forward, what do we have here? Oh boy. We got Andrew Warden in P4 chasing down Kieran Fox. Kieran Fox is technically in P3, however, Kieran Fox has yet to pit. And Fox, that is Sim Black Fox, by the way. That is the livery that he has, that we saw in the beginning of the stream. The car that he was going to don with his livery design for this track specifically, as he goes into the pits. And that is interesting because Kieran Fox and Black Fox is an entire pit stop down to Andrew Warden. However, Wallenstein is now into the pits. Alan Zhu has slowly closed the gap on Common Cold. Tommy Kogan. My God. Tommy Kogan. The man who was in 6th place, 6th or 7th place, is now in P1 position. And he is just trying to survive for as long as possible. I don't know if he has a strategy where he just fueled up the car as much as possible and he's going to take it to the end, which would be very insane because there's still 40 minutes left into the race. And I don't think the cars can last that long. However, if he is just doing pure fuel saving mode and lifting and coasting for much of the race, and yet still being able to stay into this position, I will be very impressed. I kind of hope he doesn't pit now. If he has the opportunity to not pit, I don't think he should pit. However, going back to Temujin, who is now just hounding Common Cold. Finally, a fight worth mentioning. The fight for P10. The fight for points right now. No back markers involved. And Common Cold outbreaks himself into Campus Corner. And that allows Temujin to take P10 away from Common Cold. And a mistake has now just cost him the position. However, can Common Cold fight back? as they go through Blanchimont. Is Common Cold going to send it into the bus stop chicane? It is a Bentley. It is a big boy. It is a thick boy. It just does not look like it flows through the corners. However, Common Cold is going to get another chance. Up Eau Rouge and Radion. Hopefully he can get the slipstream. Hopefully he can get the run on him into Le Calm and take the lead back, because the Bentley is an unbelievable defending machine. And at the hands of Common Cold, he has the ability to create a Yarno Truly train. However, a mistake has cost him the position for P10, and gaining a position in a Bentley is much harder than defending it. It does not look like Common Cold will have that opportunity, and I don't want to say P6 or P10 is away from him, but P10 is going to slip out of Common Cold's hands just knowing what the Bentley can do. And the Bentley is not a vehicle that can easily overtake cars. As we keep going back, I think I saw a fight brewing up here, and there is a fight brewing up here. We got Frost on Dave Hussar. Frost on Dave Hussar. Frost is getting the run on Dave Hussar. Oh my god, what is that? What is that move? Almost loses his rear end trying to fake Dave Hussar. And by going onto the inside, he goes out to the outside, does not get a good enough brake traction into Le Calm, and he is now following and chasing Dave Hussar once again. However, Nixar in his Bentley is causing a lot of problems. Frost is going to send his car on the inside because he doesn't want to be behind Nixar, losing time to Dave Hussar. And now Dave Hussar is in clean air, who is now getting hounded by Frost, and he is chasing him down. Daniel Wright is chasing Van down, and he gets the easy overtake on Van. Van, I know him. He is going to yield to the blue flag. Oh my god, and that is a bang into the wall. Frost has lost it on the fast, high-speed left-hand chicane, and there was an explosion right there as we go back to the race. Nothing has happened, but unfortunately, Frost has lost control of his car. Let's see if we can find any damage on the right side of his vehicle. You know what? Let's just try to do the, no, that's not it. That won't be it. It will have to be right here. And it does not look like there's much sustained damage. Frost has the ability to keep his position. Frost has the ability to keep going. However, there are yellow flags right now. And what has happened? Where is it? I guess there are no yellow flags. However, Common Cold and Temujin fighting beautifully. Common Cold has came back just when I counted him out. And you know what is impressive is Lintner is in P11. This is the fight. This is the hype I am now interested to see. It's another four-way fight for P9. We are missing a driver. And I don't know who that driver is, but the fight for P9 is now raging on again. Temujin leading the pack. Common Cold in P10. Lintner, the man who took P9 from them, had a massive 6-7 second gap on Common Cold, who was in P10, is now in P11, he must have had a very poor pit entrance and a pit exit, because Lintner should have been ahead of these drivers, and he has now lost a ton of time. He could have also just been undercut very impressively. However, Lintner is now on the back of Common Cold, and I don't know what the strategy here is. Do you attack Common Cold and allow Temujin to get a gap, or do you let Common Cold do the attacking and you wait for your opportunity? That is now the question. However, Andrew Warden, I want to say the race leader, but he is technically not the race leader, in P2 is starting to make his way through the back markers, and Alan Zhu, Lintner, and Common Cold are all about to be back markers to Andrew Warden's wrath, his rage, his speed, and his pace. But a four-way fight from Temujin, P9, Common Cold, P10, Lintner in P11, and Alan Zhu in P12. Alan Zhu, who is also out of this fight, he was like 4 seconds behind, is now within a is in this 1 second range of Lintner. If we actually go back up the road, as we go into the helicam, Common Cold going back to the outside into Lecombe. Can he get the move done? He cannot get the move done. And he sits behind Temujin for another lap. And because of that, that has let Lintner close the gap once again. However, I think Lintner needs to be patient. He needs to let Common Cold keep fighting with Temujin. Let them make the mistake. You still have 31 minutes and 50 seconds for you to start applying pressure, because P8 is so far ahead right now. You're fighting for P9. And you don't want to make mistakes. We have seen time and time again, no matter if you're fighting for P20, P1, or P10, the pressure gets to people, and don't let the pressure get to you. The other drivers will let the pressure get to them, and you will gain a free position. Either that, or they will take each other out. And it looks like Andrew Warden has caught up to the pack, and he has actually made a move on the inside of Alan Zhu, and you can just see his very distinguished Bentley. It is a tan-colored Bentley you can see just in the back of this fight. In fact, I know he will be doing an interesting overtaking position. Whoops, where I'm going the wrong way. Actually, before we even do that, yes, as you can see, Andrew Warden has actually lost his position back to Alan Zhu. Alan Zhu is just fighting him. And Andrew Warden is going back up the inside through Blanchimont. However, we got Temujin 9, Common Cold P10, Lintner P11, Andrew Warden in P2. However, he is in between this battle. Alan Zhu, and in fact, Deez Grills on backmarker has actually just joined the fight here. And this is just turning into a, well, you know, it's just, I can't use bad words. A gaggle. This has turned into a gaggle. As the drivers are going up Eau Rouge and Radion, we shall see who gets the better. You know what? Common Cold has been getting pretty good exits out of Radion. We shall see if Common Cold can close the gap on Temujin. It does not look like this lap he will have that opportunity. However, will Andrew Warden make a move? He thought about it. You can see the twitch in Andrew Warden's car of attempting or thinking about it. And Tommy Kogan has yet to pit. He is still in P1. 30 minutes left in the race. I don't know if he's waiting to pit or if he's not pitting. And if he does not pit, I think he'll be the only driver that doesn't pit. Andrew Warden takes the position. Lintner gives it up easily, knowing that he's just going to lose time if he just keeps battling Lintner. However, Common Cold makes a mistake through the fast left-hander. Lintner is taking the chance, and 2 mistakes have now cost Common Cold 2 positions. And as you can see, once the pressure starts mounting, mistakes start opening up, and doors begin to provide themselves opportunities to be entered. And Common Cold has let the door open, and Lintner has walked straight through it. Lintner, who actually we can now see a 3-way fight between Temujin, Andrew Warden, and Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer in P24 defending Andrew Warden as he is being blue flagged. Is an interesting sight. Temujin is for sure going to be losing time. And now, this has allowed Lintner to close the gap. However, this fighting has actually allowed Common Cold to close the gap. And I was expecting to see Tommy Kogan's name in the pits. It was not Tommy Kogan, it was the Lexus of Dolmas. Common Cold taking a beautiful line into La Source. As we can see him through the rearview mirror, or rearview camera. And it looks like Common Cold is messing with Lintner. I think I just saw him flash his lights, telling him to GTFO, let me through. I made a mistake, but I'm faster than you. It will be interesting to see what Common Cold can do. However, Temujin, Lintner, Warden, Pfeiffer, and Common Cold. Oh my god! And that is an incident right there. Oh my god, that was... I'm not even going to play the fireworks there, because that was interesting. These Grills makes the mistake. Alan Zhu is now through. What do we have here? We have Common Cold, Andrew Warden, Lintner, and Temujin. And Andrew Warden is just getting himself into business that he doesn't want to be into, and it's not his fault. He is technically in between back markers, and the back markers don't want to give up, because they're all fighting for a position as well. Andrew Warden is free and clear in P2 right now. They don't care. Andrew Warden's not fighting anybody for P1 or P3. I mean, he's fighting Tommy Kogan, but Tommy Kogan still has to pit, I would assume. Andrew Warden is getting aggressive. He's getting frustrated being in the middle of this. He's probably losing a second or two a lap by being here, and this is actually allowing Tommy Kogan to get smooth sailings. As we can see, Andrew Warden is attacking, and he's not being let through. And Lintner has finally let him through. Now the final domino of Temujin in P9 is not going to want to let him through. Andrew Warden is sending it on the inside through bus stop chicane. Takes it beautifully. And he can now begin to gain all the time he has lost by being stuck behind Temujin, Lintner, and Common Cold. And yes, Lintner was ignoring blue flags, Mr. Briskets. Lintner, however, was not the only one ignoring blue flags, unfortunately. They were all... It looked like they were all ignoring blue flags. And honestly, I don't blame them. They're all fighting for positions. They don't want to be the one that loses out in a situation by giving up a blue flag. However, Lintner is going round the outside into Le Calm. Temujin holding the inside line. Oh my god, Lintner is a very passive driver. This is not the first time he's done this. However, he knows he has the pace. He is just being super patient about it. And his patience is cost. Sometimes being patient isn't a good thing. And in a situation where you're going clearly side by side and your car is faster on a straight, yeah, you might want to take the chance to be a little aggressive. And Lintner is not taking the chance. Oh, and Lintner is all over the back of Temujin now. You can see Common Cold in the background there. This is a proper fight between a Ferrari, McLaren, and Bentley. And we have the Porsche of Alan Zhu just in the background there. And the Porsche of D's Grills, but D's Grills is a back marker. And Andrew Warden trying to overtake the back marker of Montalvo, who Montalvo now lets him by. Andrew Warden is now in P2, and the only driver ahead of him is Tommy Kogan, who is the race leader right now, who has yet to pit. Oh, and we got a driver going on the inside. That is Lintner spinning himself out into the bus stop chicane, becoming a blocker through the center of the track. and he has now just lost out on the positions. I don't understand why, Lintner, you would do... Oh my god, and he loses the vehicle on the exit, and that is an explosion meme. I need to come up with a better meme. However, Lintner is unpatient in a place where you need to be patient, and is patient in a place where you can be aggressive. And this, I hope he watches the replay of this stream, and I hope he sees the words that I'm saying to him right now. Le Calm, great place to overtake. Bus stop chicane, not so much unless you're Andrew Warden and you're a back marker. And that has now just bit him. However, Common Cold is now on the back of Temujin, and I want to see Common Cold get into P9. His defending has been awesome. However, he has made mistakes, which has cost him positions. However, another man's mistake that was much, much worse than his has now led him back into the P10 spot. He has the opportunity, and he does have the pace to keep up with Temujin. I just want to see... I want him to prove me wrong about the Bentley. I mean, I know Andrew Warden is a speed god in the Bentley. I want Common Cold to show me what that Bentley has got, because it's a Bentley. It's like a grandma car. But I am very pleased with his defending. I am pleased with his lack of mistakes, however, lack of major mistakes, I should say. However, as we go back, the order, let's see what's happening around the other parts of the circuit. Frost on Cookie, Valentine. Oops, what do we have here? Here we go. We got Pitch on Bray. 2 Mercedes. These 2 drivers have been inseparable. For some reason, they always seem to be behind one another, and it's very simple to figure out which one is which because they both drive Mercedes. However, Pitch is always in his pink one, and Craig Bray is in his anime. I believe it's an anime. We gotta... Yes, it is the anime. Bray is always in his animated one. And Michael Pitch in the other one, the pink Mercedes, the Racing Point there. Kieran Fox all alone in P8 right now. 24 seconds ahead of the P9 drivers fighting for P9 right now. Temujin and Common Cold. Tommy Kogan going through the Calm, who is 10 seconds ahead of Andrew Warden. And I'm kind of curious to see what will happen. I know Andrew Warden has the pace. He is going to catch up to Tommy Kogan. There's 20 minutes left in the race. Andrew Warden is probably a second faster. So he will be there in 10 laps time, which will actually be interesting because it's about 2 minutes and 22 seconds to do a lap around here in these cars. This is the question. If Tommy Kogan doesn't pit, because he has yet to pit, can he survive an Andrew Warden onslaught? Because Andrew Warden has free clean air, not stuck behind any back markers anymore. And I know he has, let's see the pace advantage. 2 minutes and 19 seconds to his 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So that's a 3-second advantage. A lap. 2 minutes and 22 seconds a lap. We could have an interesting final lap. Or right before the final lap. We will definitely keep an eye on this one. However, we have an interesting cluster here. Daniel Wright in 3rd. Alan Zhu in 11th. Montalvo in 19th. These Grills in P18. And Common Cold in P10. Fighting with Temujin. And Temujin is now gaining a 2-second gap on Common Cold, unfortunately. Deez Grills has actually closed the gap on Common Cold. He is now 5/10 behind. However, he is a back marker. Common Cold, if anybody is talking to you and listening to the stream right now, my advice is to just let Deez Grills either buy, because if you waste time fighting him, you are going to waste time on gaining on Temujin. Oh, Daniel Wright hits the tire barrier, but nothing severe. And Daniel Wright is in P2. Tommy Kogan is pit. The man has pit. Unfortunately, I was hoping for him to not pit. It would have been beautiful to see. Tommy, why? Over Tommy, the man who was in P7, if I'm not mistaken, fighting for P6, is in P3, is now just overtaken by Cookie for P3. Paul Wallenstein, who is in P5, is coming up Eau Rouge, and somebody just spun. I don't know who that is. However, I don't care who that is. Tommy Kogan is in 5th place. He has jumped either 1 or 2 positions, definitely 1 position, with his beautiful strategy gamble. He is now in 5th place. Tommy Kogan, the man who is keeping up with the other driver, who had half a tank of gas for half of the race, he was able to keep up with him with a full tank of gas with 16 minutes and 45 seconds left in the race. What an impressive drive from Tommy Kogan with a full tank of gas. That is beautiful, and I think, I don't remember if it was P6 or P7, but nonetheless, his strategy paid off. He has gained a position or 2. And now he is on the back of Frost in the fellow Ferrari. And let's see if he can even catch up to Paul Wallenstein for P4, because he's only 5 seconds up the road, and he is... I'm assuming he did not change his tires, however. So we will keep an update on that. Dolmuz, who is in the Lexus, and I'm very disappointed. Patterson, who is fighting for P9, is all the way in P23 for whatever reason. I don't know what happened to him. Went into the pits and never came out. Common Cold, who has closed the gap from 2 seconds to 1.8 seconds. These two drivers are gaining and losing from each other. I hope Common Cold can close that gap. I want to see him fight for the P9 position. It'll be fun to see, especially in the last 15 minutes of the race. These Girls has a drive-through penalty. I'm assuming from cutting Eau Rouge and or Radion for an entire race session. I don't know if he did, but that drive-through penalty came out of nowhere. It has to be from cutting a chicane, and it looks like he just recently got it, so my assumption is he cut Radion or Eau Rouge in a very, very dramatic fashion. Cookie, all alone in P3. Unfortunately, Kogan does not look like he can close the gap on Wallenstein. That 4.9 second gap is now increased to a 6.5 second gap. However, P5 is still good. Very excited to see what will happen. Craig Bray in P6, Pitch in P7. We got Frost and Dave Hassar in the pits. I have no idea what happened to Dave Hassar. He had a great race. I'm sorry, he had a horrible, horrible start to the race, as we saw into Turn 1. As we saw into the bus stop chicane, on the first or second lap, Dave Hassar got taken out, depressingly. Thank you, Craig Bray, for showing us that your windshield wipers work. Let's see, Patterson in the grass, unfortunately. However, going back, let's see what's happening with everybody else. Looks like there's some drivers going into the bus stop chicane. Alan Zhu getting overtaken. Common Cold letting D's Grills by. And D's Grills still has the drive-through penalty. I'm surprised he didn't take the drive-through penalty. We have 24 drivers left. One driver has decided to not finish the race. I have no idea who that is. Tommy Kogan getting pressured from Dolmuz in the Lexus. And this is actually one of the few times I do get to see the Lexus. He's the only Lexus driver on the grid. Let's do an onboard with him real quick, see what it looks like on the interior of this car. And in the meantime, while we're looking at the interior of this car, we can also see if he is able to do an overtake on Tommy Kogan, which would pretty much be meaningless, but for the sake of overtakes, we shall see. And it does not look like this lap we will be able to see it. So we have Dave Hassar into the pits. Patterson is going back into the pits. We saw him have a nasty shunt into Lecombe. However, we have a three-way fight. Temujin is now 4.8 seconds ahead of Common Cold for that P9 spot. It looks like Temujin will be able to retain it because he's just gaining a gap on him. These girls, however, is hunting Temujin down, but that drive-through penalty is definitely looking spicy because by the time he does catch up, he has to go into the pits. Knowing my previous history of these drive-through penalties in this game, I believe it's 5 laps you have before you can actually pit. And Daniel Wright, the man in P2, is giving Common Cold the blue flags. These girls does go into the pits for the drive-through penalty, as is expected. However, we just have so many gaps built up, and the gaps that aren't built up and the gaps that are actually turning into fighting chances are between drivers who have overtaken one another and are being blue flagged. Blue flag, blue flag, as some people would say. And actually, as you can see, Frost is giving Golmuz the blue flag. And as we can see, like 4 cars coming out of the pit lane. One of them is Dave Hassar, who is still in the pits. The other one is Patterson, Hassar's closest rival in this race. However, Dave Hassar has the capacity. I know he's definitely in the top 10 in the championship standings. He might be in the top 5 if I'm not mistaken. I think he's actually 3rd in the championship standings. He has just had a miserable race thanks to the bus stop chicane incident in the first or second lap that has just completely tarnished that. However, as these 2 drivers go in to Lecombe, and Dolmo is just going super inside. Oh my god, and Frost almost loses the rear. That is almost... Oh, and he has a drive-through penalty! And it's a 5 laps, if I'm not mistaken, on a drive-through penalty that you have to take the thing. And if you're posting... Apparently his last lap was a 4 minute 36, which doesn't sound right. But if you're posting in the regular 2 minutes and 22 seconds, he doesn't have to do the drive-through penalty. However, they will add that penalty on to his final lap time. And that will be interesting to see what happens there. However, as we go down the order again, so we can see what's happening with the battles. Just a bunch of drivers going through what is it called? Back markers. Daniel Wright went from a 5 to 6 second gap on Andrew Warden to a 30-second gap almost to Andrew Warden, who was in P1. That is an impressive gap right there. However, Lintner has actually has caught back up to Alan Zhu. Can he get a move done? He's going to be super aggressive because he knows he needs to make up positions. Common Cold is just down the road, 3.8 seconds away. Lintner knows he has the pace to catch up, but the question isn't does he have the pace. The question is, can he get through? And he is... I don't understand why you would be passive into the comp. You should be passive into the bus stop chicane, not into the calm. That's where the #1 overtaking maneuver is supposed to happen in Belgium. That is a shock to me on his overtaking strategy. I mean, unless he's trying to pressure the other driver into making a mistake, but the last time we saw him do that, it backfired, and he was actually the one that ended up outbraking himself into the calm. Lindner's driving style is definitely interesting. However, Alan Zhu has just made a mistake through the fast left-hander, and he is now able to take the position away. 7 minutes and 18 seconds left. Lindner is now 4.3 seconds behind Common Cold. Can he catch up and close the gap? I know he can. And that fight is going to be the best fight, because these two drivers, Lindner and Common Cold, have been fighting each other all race long. Since the 90-minute race has started, Lindner is coming back, and he's gonna come back and fight for the P10 position. Temujin is just 12 seconds up the road. With 6 minutes and 50 seconds left, that's impossible for Lindner to catch that up for P9, unless Temujin makes a massive mistake or somebody else does ahead of them. But the fight for P10 is about to occur. Let's get an onboard lap with Lindner to see him slowly close the gap. It went from 4 seconds to 3.2 seconds. He's already gained a second in just Sector 3 alone. I am interested to see what he can do. Lindner needs to understand his strengths and understand his weaknesses and understand his strengths and weaknesses of his opponent. This is Common Cold, who he's been fighting for 90 minutes. I hope he has learned something about his driving habits, because he can use it to the test. He has been the one chasing Common Cold for almost this entire race. He should have learned something by now. Hopefully in the final 6 minutes we can see him catch up and close that gap and show us what he has learned in an overtaking opportunity against Common Cold. And hopefully Common Cold knows and keeps doing his beautiful defending that he has been doing in that Bentley. It will be interesting to see what he can do in the Bentley. He defended Lindner amazingly before this, in like in the 45-50 minute range. Can he do the same exact defending maneuvers and keep Lindner behind, and even push him into Alan Zhu, allowing him to get pressured from another driver, which will help his defense? However, 5 minutes and 20 seconds left. Lindner is 1.5 seconds behind Common Cold, and this is a fight for P9. This is the closest battle in the top 10 that we have. Everybody else has just massive gaps and different strategies that have gone into it. It's a congratulations from me to Andrew Ward. I'm calling him as the race winner. He is 30 seconds up the road from Daniel Wright. And then in third place, I will actually have to check that in a second. Actually, the impossible has just happened. It looks like Cookie has taken second place, because that's what it's showing me on the leaderboards right now. And Daniel Wright... Actually, what do I have? I have some time. Let's see here. Where are we? Andrew Warden is P1. What happened to Daniel Wright? Where is he? As we can see, Cookie now in P2. Wallenstein in P3. I gotta find out what happened to Daniel Wright. The man in P2 who was destined to be P2 is no longer in P2 or P3. Wallenstein is in P3. Congratulations to him if he gets onto the podium there. Congratulations to Cookie if he gets into second place, because Cookie is not too far away from the I mean, he's too far away for the. He's at a distance, but this would definitely help his championship standings and close the gap down to the second place drivers, who Dave Hassar has had an abysmal race, and it looks like Daniel Wright has made a massive mistake, so this allows Cookie to catch up. However, we're on board with Lindner, the only drivers in the top 10 right now who have a chance of fighting, and it looks like they have made up a position. Daniel Wright is clearly... something has happened, and as you can see, Lindner has actually backed off into the calm once again. I don't understand it. However, two drivers... I don't understand what's happening. We went from 24 drivers to 22 drivers to now 20 drivers. Daniel Wright And I don't think there's going to be an overtaking opportunity unless a massive mistake is happening, so let's forget that. Amsterdam Van Kogan is now in P3. There has to be a massive... Who's in P1? Andrew 1. There has to be a massive internet loss for some of these drivers, because all of a sudden... And it looks like somebody has returned. Time to go find the original fight between... Man, I am struggling to find that fight between... Where are they? Are they no longer here? Oh, nope, there we go. There's Lintner. As we now have Lintner fighting with Common Cold for P7. I have no idea what happened to the other drivers. There's only 20... We have lost 3 drivers. And one of them is Daniel Wright. He is no longer in the session with us. Paul Wallenstein is no longer in the session with us. And we have actually Andrew Warden in P1, Cookie in P2, and Tommy Kogan in P3. And God was on his side. Oh my God, and we have Lintner trying the outside. I don't understand why he likes to overtake into the bus stop chicane. That's very counterintuitive. Because after the bus stop chicane, you have a massive straight that somebody can use the slipstream on you. I am boggled with this kind of driving. And this may or may not be the last lap. So, let's do an onboard session with Lintner. Can he get it done? I mean, he has an easy run on him. On the Kemmel straight. I will be amazed if he doesn't go for it. I will be amazed if he backs off again. I really hope he doesn't back off. Nope, he's already too far ahead. Okay, Lintner is now in P7. He has overtaken Common Cold. Common Cold almost got it done. He had to defend for another lap, maybe another one afterwards. But Lintner in P7. Will he make another massive mistake? I doubt it. There's only 30 seconds left in the race. You would have to be a blonde. Apologies to any blondes. I'm sure the joke gets tired. But hopefully in the final seconds and probably the final lap, hopefully Lintner doesn't make a mistake, keeps the P7 position. He had to fight back after spinning out very hard into the bus stop chicane. However, he has gained back the 2 positions that he lost. He will, however, finish behind Temujin. The leader is on the final lap, so there will be another lap after this. And Common Cold is just losing time. 2.5 seconds behind. As we go through. We have Andrew Warden in P1. Cookie in P2. Kogan in P3. Craig Bray in P4. Pitch in P5. Temujin P6, Lintner P7, and Common Cold in P8. As we have Warden lapping the P5 driver, the 5th place driver, Pitch, who is just going to easily let him by. He doesn't have any worries. However, we do have a fight going up the road here between Craig Bray and Patterson. Bray obviously wants to get past Patterson. He knows he can get past Patterson. However, one of the other drivers who has DNF'd, I believe, is Dave Hassar. I did not see his name. Along with Daniel Wright. I have no idea what happened to him. Along with Paul Wallenstein. I have no idea what happened to him. And those are the 3 drivers who have DNF'd. There was another driver who DNF'd, but that was way earlier before this whole, disappointing ending has occurred. However, let's go back to Andrew Warden, who is on his final lap. As he goes through the La Fang corner, let's see what a proper lap around this track looks like on the final half. Through campus. And through Stavelot. In the Bentley of Andrew Warden. Driven to perfection. I don't know how he does it in this car, but he does. He gets the job done. As Andrew Warden is gonna go on the inside of Kosar. Gets the move done. The final overtake of the session, and Andrew Warden is going to finish this race up. Well deserved by him, bossing the competition, bossed the second stint, got away from Daniel Wright, had a 30-second gap. Andrew Warden is the race winner. Andrew Warden is in P1. Cookie is going to finish in P2. Kogan in P3, congratulations to him. Having an unbelievable strategy, gaining him a position or two, and then just taking advantage of the DNFs and moving him into the top 3. We got Craig Bray in P4, Pitch, who has finished in P5, Temujin, who is going to finish P6, Lintner P7, Common Cold P8, Alan Zhu, I'm pretty sure, is in P9. And this is an impressive finish. Usually we had 25 drivers at the start of the race, 24 drivers throughout the half of the throughout the midpoint, and now 20 drivers, unless the leaders have left. However, 21 drivers, I believe, have finished the race appropriately, and that is an impressive standing here. If you guys are interested in joining us, feel free. We not only do we do ACC, we can fill up to 32 drivers on the grid. We have our own practice sessions. We watch the races. We watch the Formula 1 races, and we do drive the Formula 1 cars as well. We do have the MotoGP games. We do have the Rally and Dirt Rallycross games. We do anything motorsports related. If you are interested, please join ApolloRacingClub.com. We have a Discord server. We do have a website, if I'm not mistaken. Feel free to join us. We're always looking to get more racers. Definitely, we want to fill up the grids even more. 25 drivers is impressive tonight. I really want to see what a 32-driver grid looks like. That will definitely be exciting to commentate, and I'm sure for the spectators as well. But yes, in the meantime, there you have it. Top 3, Andrew Warden, Cookie, and Tommy Kogan. Thank you guys. Have a great night. I'm going to go switch it to our beautiful backdrop that I got to change. Hopefully you don't get what do you call? Addicted to a bunch of cars getting changed from one slide to another. However, good night, guys. Have a great day. Peace out. Whoop, there we go. As I try this, whoop, there we go. No.